Good evening, friends. Today I'm going to talk about 5 things that I wished I knew when I was 16. Physical strength. So, guys, when I was 15, 16, even 17, I was a very skinny dude. And I remember we used to have PT period in our school, physical training period, and I never used to want to play. I would just sit on the sidelines, on the stairs, maybe do my physics homework, maybe do my chemistry homework. I was never in the thick of the action. I wanted to play, but it's just that I had some sort of an inferiority complex because I was very thin. I was around 5'7", but my weight was barely 50. Dude, don't just study all the time. You gotta take care of yourself physically. I would remind myself to drink a lot of banana shakes, to eat a lot of dry fruits, to maybe get some physical exercise going, do 100 push-ups, do 100 squats every day, and that would give me much more confidence, social confidence, athletic confidence, and that kind of internal strength would also reflect in the way I approached my academics. So that's the first thing I would remind myself. You gotta take care of yourself physically. So do some push-ups, do some squats, eat more protein. Even if you have a lot of studies to do, you cannot ignore your physical well-being, because eventually when I got 20 or 21 years old, I had done a bit of gym by then and I had put on a bit of a weight, so I immediately started feeling much better. I was eating more food, I was doing more push-ups, I was doing more cycling, and that kind of reflected in the way I approached. My shoulder width also broadened, my height increased, and that reflected in the way I approached social situations, in the way I approached tasks, challenges of life, not just social challenges or a guy coming up and trying to challenge me, but also like intellectual, academic, these kind of challenges. Okay, now on to point number 2. I would also remind myself to be good at something. I was never outstanding in studies. I was never outstanding at anything, but I was sort of very good at drawing. I remember back in 5th, 6th, 7th grade, I used to win a lot of trophies and certificates for my drawing, for my art skills. But for some reason, I never took that seriously. I never joined an art class. And it just bamboozles me now, because the common sense is, if you know that you are good at something, then you've got to do something about it. Then it's your moral duty to make use of that talent that God has given you. But for some reason, I never took that seriously, and my parents also never observed that about me. Although my teachers and my classmates all knew that I was good at drawing. See, the thing is that if a child is good at something, he might be mediocre at like 5 subjects, but if there's this one subject, and it could be dance, it could be physical exercise, it could be physics, it could be drawing, it could be music. If you are good at any one thing and people around you acknowledge you for that, and people around you applause you for that, then it can truly change your life. Because when you grow up, you're not supposed to do like 100 things. In the world of super speciality, if you are good at one thing, then that's enough. And it's not even about career. As a 12-year-old boy in a class, if you realize that you are good at something and people acknowledge you for that, and maybe you are getting some school projects, then it really boosts self-confidence. It really does some wonders to the way you see yourself in the mirror. So in that case, if you face some boulders, some hurdles in your life, you're not going to be phased out. You're not going to feel bad about it. You're going to have some sportsman spirit. And you're going to think to yourself that, okay, to hell with it. I failed in physics. I failed in chemistry. Big deal. They cannot do what I'm doing right now. They cannot draw the stuff that I'm drawing. I might have failed in physics, but I can do this thing better than 150 of them. And that gives you a lot of confidence. So if I could write a letter to my 16-year-old self, I would also say that. Be good at something. And if you've got a talent, it's your moral duty. It's not an option. It's your duty to do something about it. Point number 3. Friends, I would also demand of myself to be more assertive. I already told you that when I was 14, 15, 16, I was pretty thin. I was pretty, skinny. And that did not help my self-confidence at all. One thing that I could have done is to become more assertive. I wouldn't say that I was a yes guy, that I would just bend over backward and do anything for anyone. But yes, I was very cooperative. and I used to avoid situations where I had to confront someone if I said no. I wish I could have been more assertive. I could have said no or yes more assertively, more confidently, without feeling bad about it. Because as you grow up, you realize that the world out there is not your mom, and there are people who are going to want to take advantage of you, who are going to want you to do extra work for them without extra money, who are going to want you to do them favors without them returning any favors to you. So this very important quality that managers must have is to be assertive, because your time is limited, your money is limited, your attention is limited, and you've got to be very careful, you've got to be very picky about the kind of things that you're going to get involved in. And if something does not interest you, then just say no. So assertively say no. I wish I had that kind of confidence when I was 16. Okay, on to the next one. Find meaning, not happiness. Now, this is something that I truly learned after listening hours on end to Mr. Jordan Peterson, his podcast, which was immensely useful to me. Look for meaning in life, because when I was 16, I remember that I was never a bad student. I was an above average student. I was even good in a couple of subjects. But then my Achilles heel was video games. I used to spend a lot of times playing video games on my laptop, believing that happiness was the thing that I wanted, that everybody wanted happiness, which is wrong. Mediocre people want happiness. The people who achieve high, the high achiever kind of people, they want meaning in life. They want a sustaining meaning in life. Because if you have a meaning in life, if you have a why am I doing this? Why am I waking up every single day to this beautiful day on this soft bed? Surrounded by all the kinds of wonderful technology. I turn on the button, the light comes on. That's a miracle. If I'm surrounded by such privilege, 24/7 electricity, a computer, a smartphone, then I've got to do something with it, isn't it? My cell phone then is not just a device to play video games on. It's something that I can use to maybe what I'm doing right now, reach out to people, motivate people, read some books, become a teacher. But these are the things that I learned quite later in life, when I was around 25, 26, I would say, 4-5 years ago. Because if it was about happiness, then we are not happy all the time. We do have sadness. Then if we do have sadness, then what's the point of living? If the whole point of life is to be happy, and if you're not happy, because it's inevitable that you're going to hit some patches of sadness in your life, then what sustains you? So the theory of happiness fails, isn't it? It's about meaning, because life has deaths, life has sickness. It's like what Buddha said, old age, sickness, death, these three inevitable, inconsolable realities of life. Now happiness is not going to tide you over these realities, but meaning is. The failures in life, the death of a loved one, the breakup. If you're looking for meaning, go into theological study, read the Bible, read the Gita, read the Quran. There's a reason why religion has sustained for so many years. There's a reason why Hinduism has sustained for more than 4,000 years, why Islam has sustained for more than 1,500 years. There's got to be something valuable in that. That's the reason religions sustain. But, well, like any teenager, I wasn't bothered with all this. I just had need for speed gain, so I was drowning all my time in that. So boy, 16-year-old Nishant, look for meaning, not happiness. On to the next one. Organize yourself. That's also one of the cardinal things that I would tell myself. Organize yourself. Get your room in order. That's also one of the things that I learned from Jordan Peterson. Clean up your room. Clean up. Clean up the bed. Make sure there are no breadcrumbs on your bed. Clean up the table. Clean up your bookshelf. If you have a lot of photos in your phone, clean it up. Clean up your laptop. Delete the stuff that you do not like, because your attention is limited. Have a diary. Have a pen. Note things down. Write down important stuff. Make a bullet journal. Bullet journal is a very useful thing that I picked up a couple of years ago, and it has changed my life. Iron your clothes. Make sure you have a presentable disposition. So these are the things that I learned later on in life, because if you're organized, if you know where you're keeping your pens as a schoolboy, if you know when you've got to submit your homework, if you know the deadlines of the different examinations, if you know how to conduct yourself, then half the battle is won. You're already miles ahead of the 100 people around you. So I would tell myself, Iron your clothes, get your bookshelf in order, get your computer in order, do your homework, put little labels on your books, fix your handwriting, make your handwriting beautiful. Use a green pen, use a black pen, use a scale for God's sake. Alright guys, so these are the 5 things that I would tell myself if I had the option of going back in time or writing a letter to my 16-year-old self. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Thank you.